Today, we're diving into cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT.
Sounds good to me.
Our source is Cognitive Behavior Therapy Second Edition, Basics and Beyond, by Judith S. Beck. And even if you think you know CBT, this book really does go beyond the basics, offering practical insights for anyone, not just, therapists.
Yeah, I was really struck by how the book dives into the origin story of CBT, revealing its surprising roots.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, it's fascinating that Aaron Beck, a psychoanalyst, actually stumbled upon the cognitive basis of depression while he was studying dreams.
You'd think it came from like a lab studying thoughts and feelings, not, dreams.
Exactly. He was actually trying to validate existing psychoanalytic theories, but his research on dreams led him in a completely different direction. He expected to find themes of hostility turned inward in the dreams of depressed patients. But instead, he found recurring themes of like defectiveness, loss, and deprivation, which kind of mirrored their waking thoughts.
Wow, that's such a pivotal moment in the development of CBT, right? Like, it illustrates how questioning assumptions can lead to groundbreaking discoveries. And Beck's research really did show that our thoughts have a direct impact on our feelings and behaviors, which is like a core principle of CBT.
Absolutely, and this leads us nicely into the 10 principles of CBT outlined in the book. These principles form the framework for understanding and applying this approach, but they're not, just a dry list.
Right.
The book brings these principles to life with vivid examples.
Oh, like what?
Well, they talk about Sally, a college student struggling with depression.
Okay.
It's through her experiences that we see how CBT helps individuals, identify and challenge their unique thinking patterns.
That's cool. So, what's the first principle?
The first principle highlights that there's no one-size-fits-all approach in CBT. It emphasizes understanding the individual's specific situation and tailoring the treatment to their needs.
Makes sense.
So take Sally, for example. She feels isolated and inadequate, especially in social situations like, the college cafeteria.
I can relate to that. Cafeterias can be tough.
Right. Through CBT, she learns to identify her automatic thoughts, like, they're all judging me, and to challenge those thoughts with evidence and alternative perspectives.
Oh, so it's about becoming aware of those thoughts and then questioning them.
Exactly.
That's interesting. What about Principle 10?
Oh, Principle 10 is really interesting. It highlights the adaptability of CBT, emphasizing that it draws from a variety of techniques, not just cognitive ones.
So it's not just about like changing your thoughts.
No, it's much broader than that. The book showcases therapists who integrate techniques from other modalities, like mindfulness or acceptance and commitment therapy, to create a truly individualized approach.
So it's about equipping individuals with a like toolbox of strategies that can be tailored to their unique needs and challenges. That makes a lot of sense. Now, what about the role of the CBT therapist? What does the book say about that?
Well, the book emphasizes that they're not just dispensers of techniques.
Oh,
They are skilled counselors who build rapport, educate, and collaborate with their clients.
so it's like they become partners in this journey of self-discovery and change.
Exactly. They help individuals understand their own thought processes.
That's cool.
And one detail I found quite interesting is the book's emphasis on the therapist's own self-awareness.
Oh,
Yeah, even experienced CBT therapists have their own automatic thoughts. They're not immune to negative thinking, but they model self-reflection and challenge their own unhelpful thoughts, encouraging clients to do the same.
that's a powerful reminder that we're all human, right? Like we all have these thought patterns, and it makes the therapist seem more relatable.
Absolutely. Now, to illustrate how CBT works in practice, let's walk through a typical therapy session, as outlined in the book.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So the session usually begins with agenda setting, where the therapist and client collaboratively define the issues to be addressed.
So it's not just the therapist like dictating the course of treatment.
No, not at all. The client is actively involved in shaping their therapy experience.
I like that.
Then comes the identification of those automatic thoughts that often fuel negative emotions and behaviors.
Ah, so this is where Sally's story comes back in, right? Like her anxieties in the cafeteria.
Precisely. The book breaks down her experience, showing how seemingly innocuous situations can trigger a cascade of negative thoughts and emotions.
So it's like those thoughts are operating on autopilot, and CBT helps us become aware of them and examine their validity.
Right. Her example demonstrates how these automatic thoughts often arise without our conscious awareness, shaping our perceptions and influencing our reactions.
That's really interesting. So how do we gain a deeper understanding of these thoughts?
Well, CBT utilizes a powerful tool called the thought record.
The thought record.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, the book presents the thought record as a practical tool for everyday life, not just something you use in therapy.
Oh, okay.
It provides a structured way to challenge and reframe those negative thoughts, leading to positive changes in emotions and behavior.
I like that. So it's like a step-by-step guide to dissecting your thoughts.
You got it. Examining the evidence for and against them and developing more balanced and realistic perspectives.
That's really cool. Now, I also noticed that the book highlights the importance of homework in CBT.
Yes, definitely.
So it's not just about what happens during the therapy session.
No, it's about practicing these techniques in real-life situations to reinforce learning and promote lasting change.
Makes sense.
This emphasis on practice aligns with CBT's focus on empowering individuals to become their own therapists, so to speak. The homework assignments, whether practicing relaxation techniques or trying out new behaviors, encourage clients to actively apply what they've learned in their daily lives.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So real change happens outside the therapy room in the messy reality of everyday life.
Exactly.
Now, beyond automatic thoughts, CBT delves deeper, right?
As it does.
Exploring the underlying beliefs that shape our perceptions and interpretations of the world.
That's right. This is where we begin to uncover those core beliefs that often operate beneath our conscious awareness. It's like we're going on an archaeological dig.
Uncovering those deep-seated beliefs that might be influencing our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors without us even realizing it.
Right.
So these core beliefs, as the book calls them, are like fundamental truths that we hold about ourselves, others, and the world. They can be positive or negative, and they often stem from our early experiences.
Right. The book delves into how childhood experiences, whether positive or negative, can shape our core beliefs.
Yeah, like how so?
Well, think about it. If you grew up in an environment where you were constantly criticized, you might develop a core belief of, I'm not good enough.
Okay, yeah.
Or you experience a betrayal, you might form a core belief of, people can't be trusted.
So those early experiences can really leave a lasting imprint on our belief systems, huh?
Definitely.
Like those beliefs become these ingrained patterns of thinking that influence how we see ourselves and interact with the world. But what I find empowering about CBT is that it offers a path to challenge and change those deeply ingrained beliefs,
Absolutely.
even the negative ones that might be holding us back.
CBT doesn't just focus on managing symptoms. It aims to address the root of the problem by helping individuals identify and modify those core beliefs.
Okay.
The book outlines several techniques for belief modification.
Like what? What are some of those techniques?
So one technique that really resonated with me was the historical test of core beliefs.
The historical test,
Yeah.
what is that?
It involves examining specific events from your past to see if they support or contradict your core beliefs.
So it's like becoming a detective, like gathering evidence
Exactly.
to challenge those long-held assumptions. I can see how that would be a powerful way to start shifting those deep-seated patterns of thinking.
Right, and the book also introduces the concept of intermediate beliefs, which are the rules and assumptions we develop to cope with our core beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
These intermediate beliefs often act as filters,
Okay.
influencing how we interpret situations and make decisions.
Can you give me an example of how these intermediate beliefs play out in real life?
Sure. The book features a reader, let's call him John, who struggles with feelings of incompetence.
Okay.
His core belief is, I'm not good enough.
Okay.
Stemming from this core belief are intermediate beliefs like, if I make a mistake, it means I'm a failure, or I must always be perfect to be accepted.
Oh, wow.
These beliefs then lead to specific thoughts and behaviors.
So it's like a chain reaction. The core belief leads to these intermediate beliefs, which then trigger automatic thoughts, influence emotions, and ultimately drive our actions.
You got it. And the book emphasizes that these intermediate beliefs can be both helpful and harmful. For example, a belief like, I must work hard to succeed, can be motivating.
Right.
However, taken to an extreme, it could lead to workaholism and burnout.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's about finding a balance and recognizing when these beliefs are no longer serving us well.
But how do we actually go about changing those deeply ingrained beliefs, both the core beliefs and those intermediate ones?
Well, CBT provides a range of techniques for belief modification. One technique the book highlights is using a core belief worksheet. It's a structured approach to examining the evidence for and against your core beliefs.
Okay.
identifying alternative perspectives, and developing more adaptive beliefs.
So it's like taking those beliefs to court and presenting a case for or against them.
Exactly. I imagine that process can be quite eye-opening.
Yeah.
Another technique is role-playing with your younger self.
Role playing with your younger self.
Yeah, it involves imagining a conversation with your younger self,
Mhm.
the one who developed those core beliefs, and offering compassion, understanding, and alternative perspectives.
That sounds like a powerful way to address those deep-seated emotional wounds that might be fueling those negative beliefs. Like, it's about offering ourselves the same kindness and understanding we would offer a friend or loved one.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes that belief modification is a process that takes time and effort. It's not about simply replacing negative beliefs with positive affirmations. It's about developing more balanced and realistic perspectives that are aligned with your values and goals.
Now, speaking of putting beliefs to the test, the book also delves into the importance of behavioral experiments in CBT.
Yes, definitely.
Can you explain how those work?
Sure. Behavioral experiments are a powerful way to challenge and modify those unhelpful beliefs. It involves testing out your assumptions in real-life situations to gather evidence that either supports or refutes those beliefs.
So it's like conducting a scientific experiment, but instead of testing a hypothesis in a lab, you're testing your beliefs in the real world. That sounds both exciting and a little nerve-wracking.
It can be both. But the book emphasizes that behavioral experiments are designed to be collaborative and gradual.
Okay.
You work with your therapist to identify a specific belief you want to test, then you design an experiment that will provide you with information about the validity of that belief.
Can you give us an example of a behavioral experiment?
Let's say someone has social anxiety and holds the belief, if I talk to strangers, they'll think I'm weird and reject me.
Okay.
A behavioral experiment might involve starting small, perhaps by simply smiling at a stranger in the grocery store,
Right.
then gradually increasing the challenge, maybe striking up a brief conversation with a cashier or asking someone for directions.
So it's about starting with manageable steps and gradually expanding your comfort zone, gathering evidence along the way to challenge those negative beliefs.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that the results of these experiments often contradict the individual's negative expectations. They might find that people are actually quite friendly and receptive.
Which can be a really powerful experience, right?
Definitely. In challenging those long-held beliefs.
It's like those experiments provide concrete evidence that those fears might be unfounded, paving the way for more positive and realistic beliefs. Now, in addition to these techniques for challenging and modifying beliefs, the book also delves into a range of other CBT techniques that can be incredibly helpful in managing emotions and behavior.
Absolutely. And it's important to note that these techniques aren't separate from the work of addressing core and intermediate beliefs. They often work in tandem, providing individuals with a multifaceted approach to change.
One technique that I found particularly intriguing was refocusing. Can you elaborate on how that works?
Sure. Refocusing is a valuable technique for managing overwhelming thoughts or anxiety. It involves redirecting your attention away from those distressing thoughts and towards something more neutral or positive.
So it's like hitting the pause button on those spiraling thoughts and consciously shifting your focus to something more calming or productive.
Exactly. The book gives the example of someone who's feeling anxious about an upcoming presentation. Instead of dwelling on those anxious thoughts, they might refocus their attention on a pleasant memory, engage in a relaxing activity like listening to music, or redirect their thoughts to the task at hand, like preparing for the presentation.
So it's like you're giving your mind a break from those anxious thoughts and allowing yourself to regain a sense of control. And what I love about CBT is that it doesn't just focus on changing thoughts and beliefs. It also equips individuals with practical skills to navigate life's challenges.
Right. The book emphasizes the importance of problem solving and skills training in CBT. It's about empowering individuals to identify problems, brainstorm solutions, and develop concrete action plans.
So it's not just about feeling better, it's about equipping yourself with the tools to effectively manage challenges and create positive change in your life.
Exactly. For example, if someone is struggling with procrastination, CBT might involve breaking down a large task into smaller, more manageable steps, setting realistic deadlines, using a timer to stay focused, and rewarding themselves for progress.
So it's like you're taking a proactive approach to tackling those challenges rather than feeling overwhelmed or paralyzed by them.
Precisely. And the book also highlights the importance of developing coping skills to manage difficult emotions. This might involve learning relaxation techniques like deep breathing or progressive muscle relaxation, engaging in enjoyable activities, or seeking social support.
So it's about having a toolbox of strategies to draw from when those challenging emotions arise, rather than feeling powerless in the face of them.
Exactly. Now, I want to highlight another technique from the book that I found quite helpful. It's a visual tool called the PI technique, which can be really useful in managing guilt and self-blame.
I love how CBT incorporates these visual tools to make complex concepts more accessible and understandable.
Me too. The PI technique helps you assess how much responsibility you and others have for a particular situation. It involves drawing a pie chart and dividing it into slices, each slice representing a different factor that contributed to the situation.
Okay, I'm visualizing this. Can you give us an example of how this might be used?
Let's say you made a mistake at work and are feeling overwhelmed with guilt.
Okay, yeah.
Using the PI technique, you might identify several contributing factors, like maybe you were given unclear instructions.
Right.
Perhaps you were feeling stressed and overworked.
Yeah.
Or maybe there were external factors that were beyond your control.
So instead of taking on 100% of the blame and feeling like a complete failure, you're recognizing that there were other factors at play, and you might only hold a small slice of the pie of responsibility.
Exactly. This can be incredibly helpful in managing those feelings of guilt and self-blame, allowing you to view the situation in a more balanced and objective way.
It's like you're taking off those judgmental glasses and seeing things through a clearer
You got
lens.
it.
Wow, this deep dive into CBT has been like really eye-opening.
know. Right.
It's amazing how powerful our thoughts can be
Yeah.
and how they shape our emotions and behaviors. But for someone listening who might be new to all of this, what's the biggest takeaway you'd want them to walk away with?
I think the most important takeaway is that CBT offers practical tools and techniques that anyone can use
Okay.
to improve their mental well-being.
So it's not just for people with diagnosed mental health conditions.
Right. It's a valuable resource for anyone who wants to,
Hmm.
manage stress, navigate challenges, and cultivate a more positive and fulfilling life.
I love that CBT empowers you to become your own therapist in a way. Like it equips you with the toolkit of strategies
Yeah.
that you can use in any situation. It's like having a mental health first aid kit on hand whenever you need it.
That's a great analogy. And one of the things that makes CBT so effective is that it's been extensively researched. Yeah. And proven to be helpful for a wide range of issues, from anxiety and depression to insomnia and chronic pain.
So it's not just some feel-good self-help approach.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's backed by solid science and decades of research.
That's reassuring.
And remember, CBT isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. It's about finding the techniques that work best for you
Okay.
and integrating them into your daily life. The book encourages experimentation and emphasizes the importance of tailoring the approach to your individual needs and goals.
So it's a personalized journey of self-discovery and growth guided by these evidence-based principles and techniques.
Exactly. And I want to emphasize that CBT isn't about becoming some kind of positive thinking robot.
Okay, right.
It's about developing a more balanced and realistic perspective, recognizing and challenging those unhelpful thought patterns that can lead to negative emotions and behaviors.
So it's about learning to become more aware of your thoughts, to question their validity, and to choose more helpful and adaptive ways of thinking.
Precisely. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference. Start by incorporating one or two of the techniques we've discussed today into your daily routine.
Okay.
Notice how they affect your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
Maybe start with the thought record or try a simple refocusing exercise when you're feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. The key is to find what resonates with you and to make it a part of your daily practice. And don't be afraid to seek professional guidance if you're struggling.
Yeah, good point.
CBT therapists can provide support, expertise, and personalized guidance to help you maximize the benefits of this approach.
This deep dive into cognitive behavior therapy, second edition, basics and beyond, has been truly illuminating. I feel like I've gained a deeper understanding of how my mind works and how I can use these tools to create positive change in my life. If you're interested in learning more, I highly recommend checking out this book. It's packed with insights, practical exercises, and real-life examples that make CBT accessible and applicable to everyday life.
It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you. And as we wrap up, I'd like to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question from the book. Even experienced CBT therapists have automatic thoughts. What automatic thoughts might be influencing your life right now?
That's a good question.
Take a moment to reflect on that and consider how CBT could help you challenge and reframe those thoughts, creating a more positive and fulfilling reality.
That's a great question to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into CBT. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.